As a massive fan of the Resident Evil or Biohazard game series that started in 1996 that I still play today, trying to make my way through a zombie-infested, head-scratchingly puzzling Spencer Mansion or Raccoon City, or whether I'm Harry Mason traversing the infamous ghost town that is Silent Hill, created back in 1999 to find and save Cheryl from nightmarish monsters, or even my old Game Boy Color Pokemon adventures on Red and Blue. Video games have always and will always have a special place in my life. But do they make good movie adaptations, or is it time for cinema to just let games be games? Today on Steve's Indies, I'm briefly going to discuss. Please like and subscribe for more content similar to this. Now, you might be thinking, why is a movie channel or indie movie channel talking about video games? Well, one, because last night I watched the latest installment, or attempted latest installment, at Resident Evil with Welcome to Raccoon City. And yet again, as a hardcore Resident Evil fan, my best friend and I were bitterly disappointed. And two, I'm doing it because I just thought it would be fun and something different to do. I don't often do video game sort of things, but when it includes movies, nothing's off the table. But there is also a small independent point to this that I found very interesting. Now, it's far from the gospel truth, but while searching Rotten Tomatoes website list for the best worst video game movies, I noticed number 1, a film called Werewolves Within, made last year in 2021 by a director, Josh Rubin. It's a comedy horror about werewolves, nothing really special, but then I did some research and the production company behind it was Vanishing Angle and Ubisoft Film, distributed by none other than IFC Films. And if you've seen my other films, then you know that I am no stranger to IFC Films or anything distributed by that company. Basically, this film was number 1 on the best to worst video game movies list, and it was independently created and distributed. So I thought that's just a one-off, but nope. Metacritic also had Werewolves Within, a VR-based medieval fantasy game on the PlayStation, ranked number 1 as well. It's hotly contested, but widely agreed that Werewolves Within is probably one of the best video game to movies adaptations created. In general, video game movies never really live up to their hardcore fan base's extremely high expectations. I mean, there are exceptions like the 2001 Lara Croft Tomb Raider starring a fantastically casted Angelina Jolie, or Christoph Gans's 2006 adaptation of Silent Hill that hit so many markers but just fell short, incredibly short actually, at the last hurdle. Or maybe even more animated ones like Angry Birds 2 or Final Fantasy The Spirits Within in 2001, which I enjoyed as a kid, but probably didn't have the Final Fantasy fanbase jumping for joy when it was made. Or maybe even the more action-orientated ones like the classic 1995 Paul Anderson Mortal Kombat, or Warcraft starring Travis Fimmel. Actually, ignore that last one. I'm not even a massive fan of Warcraft, and I know that it was My point is, and the angle of this entire video, is that whether it was enjoyable, slightly managed to capture the essence of the video game itself, video game movies, in my opinion, never work. They never fully satisfy the fan base to an acceptable degree. Yes, they might make a lot of money, or at times they might absolutely bomb. I mean, sure, Paul Wes Anderson's Resident Evil franchise was an enjoyable film, but was it at all relevant to the game? No. Did it just use a popular name to instantly magnetize the millions of loyal fan base to the cinema? Yes. Did last night's new installment fail at casting, personality, and overall video character depth? Yes. So at the end of the day, I've come to the conclusion that if a massive Hollywood studio somehow gains the rights to a beloved and much treasured video game series, it's 9 out of 10 times going to be a disappointment. They always change and adapt the source material in every way, almost to the extent that it betrays the fan base and characters completely, tricking them into purchasing a £15.99 box office movie that relies solely on its name to attract the customers. But am I being too harsh? Well, I don't know. Do you agree with me? Leave a comment below and let me know if you agree with me, or just like films to be completely staying away from video games due to the constant disappointment. Or maybe you completely disagree with me altogether. Maybe there was one that hit all the buttons and left your video game enthusiasm satisfied. Lastly, maybe 2021 was the beginning. If an independent distribution and or production company can produce a a great video game adaptation, then maybe that's the way forward. Like with films, they stay true to the story, characters and themes. With independent companies, it's not all about the money. In fact, I would say only 20% of it may be the case. So why not with video games? I mean, I'd love to see an IFC Films release of Resident Evil or Silent Hill. I believe that they would do a great job. So if Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft or any other famous games company are watching, they're probably not, I would just say to them, allow an independent company to produce it. Don't just sell it to the highest bidder. Respect and release your incredible games, and I truly believe that the fan base will follow regardless. And on that note, take care everybody.